Hi, so today we're going to be talking about how to play Gibraltar as a beginner on Apex Legends. Let's get into the video. What's up everybody and welcome back to the XVLN Hideout. If you guys have never been here before, my name is Ghost and I'm so glad you guys are here. This is the very first episode of a beginner series that I've been wanting to start for a little while now. This is a channel where we talk about the games we play, the lives we live, and how we can look for ways to help each other become better than we were the day before. Better than yesterday is the motto. One stream at a time, one day at a time. If you guys feel like you vibe with that and want to see more content having to do with Apex Legends and some other games, definitely subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me for those of you who subscribe and come and hang out in the channel, and also leave a like for the video if you guys feel like you got something out of it. All the links that you guys need will be down in the comments below. I actually stream on Twitch. You guys can find me on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday night at 9 p.m. PST. I would love to have you guys there. We've been streaming a ton of Apex Legends, so whether you guys want to get in on a game or whether you just want to talk about Apex Legends, I'm down for either one. But now, let's get into the video. We're going to be talking about Gibraltar and how to play him if you are just getting into the game or if you're just playing Gibraltar. We're going to go over a couple things that makes him different and why you should play him probably different than you've been playing him. Makoa Gibraltar, also known as Gibby or Gibraltar in the game, is from the planet of Solace, which is pretty cool because King's Canyon drops today. Super hype. I can't wait to drop Skull Town. But King's Canyon's map is actually from the planet of Solace, which is where Gibraltar is from. And lastly, he is known as the Shielded Fortress of Apex. When I first started playing Gibraltar, I actually came from my very first main, I think was Lifeline. And after that, I ended up maining Octane and Wraith, a lot more Wraith, which is actually weird because Gibraltar is so big that he is almost double the size of Wraith's hitbox. Coming from playing two legends with very high mobility and are kind of like all over the place, in your face type of legends. And now I'm playing Gibraltar, which is just feels a lot different. Like you can actually feel it when you're playing him. And then also it felt weird being that he felt more slow and tanky. And so when I'm running around, I always thought like, oh dude, I can't play this slow guy. He's so much slower, when in reality, he actually isn't slower. All the legends move the same speed. He just feels like he's slower. But what it really is just he's covering up a bigger radius. And so the turns and everything else just feels a little bit slower. Anyways, guys, I plan on doing guides for every legend at different tiers, depending on how I feel, how comfortable I feel with each legend. But we're definitely going to be making more content on this. And then if there's other games that you guys want to see, I play a lot of Overwatch, play Rainbow Six Siege, and some other stuff, so maybe we'll have guides on those as well. And then if you have any other ideas, just let me know. I am always down to try something new. Okay, so the very first thing I want to talk about Gibraltar is the fact that Gibraltar is not a tank. Even though he has the little tank symbol, even though you might think he's a tank because of how big he is, right? Biggest hitbox. And even though he absorbs more damage, he has a thing called Fortify him in Caustic Cap, where they literally sponge 15% more damage and are able to resist that damage. So yeah, he feels like a tank, but he's actually not a tank, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on how to play him and why he is not actually a tank. First of all though, let's get into his abilities. Gibraltar has what is known as the Dome of Protection, or what you guys have probably heard called Bubble. Bubble is amazing. The reason why it's amazing is because now, instead of things sticking into it when you put it up, it bounces things back. So if you know that you're going to get piled with grenades, you can easily drop your bubble and things will get thrown back to the person who threw it. Maybe not all the way, but at least it's going to bounce it back. It has a 30-second cooldown and blocks for 18 seconds. But the best part about this is the fact that there is 25% faster healing inside of Bubble. So if you're in the middle of a team fight, you can easily pop Bubble and your team can heal inside of Bubble 25% faster. Now, with this being the case, and everybody knows that this is the case, you will have people trying to push Bubble as soon as you guys pop it so that you and your team can heal. Also, there is a faster revive by a full second, which is huge. So whatever you do when it comes to healing and reviving, you want to drop Bubble when this is happening. The other major ability about Gibraltar, which might be arguably his best ability, is the fact that he has a gun shield. So when you ADS, you're gonna see this bright blue like vignette That is because you're looking through a shield. This shield has recently, as of late of last year, been buffed from 50 HP to 75 HP. The cool thing about Gun Shield is the fact that you have 75 more HP before your shields or your health is touched. The other cool thing is upon break, it absorbs all the damage. So if you get hit with a fully charged Sentinel at 100 HP, but your shield only takes 75 HP, it's actually going to absorb the full 100 on break. And it takes about 5 to 8 seconds to heal from breaking. It actually charges a little bit faster up if you're using cells or batteries to charge up your shields, and it'll make your gun shield come back quicker. But this is huge, guys, because that means every single fight you have at least one shot with your arm up ADSing. But this also means it's going to be weird, and one of the hardest things of getting used to Gibraltar for me is the fact that you always want to be ADSing. The reason why you always want to be aiming down sights is because you want to utilize this gun shield all the time. Because your hitbox is so big, even though you have Fortify, you are still gonna get melted. Because anybody can just hit you. Like, they don't have to be accurate to hit you. So how you usually wanna fight is when you're farther away, you ADS, and when people are close up, you wanna hip fire. That way you can get the quickest possible kill. And when they're in their face, you don't need to ADS. You're probably going to miss more shots, which is weird because you always want to ADS when you're Gibraltar. It's just something that you just got to get used to, guys. I'm getting a little bit better now that I've been playing him a ton more, but it's still weird when someone is like pushing bubble, for instance, and you have to stay ADS. Like, especially in the beginning, it took me a long time. I kept going hip fire and I kept getting melted. So although Fortify helps, you will still get melted. Last but not least, he has defensive bombardment, which is basically an airstrike. It's really good for zoning. It's really good for initiating on third parting. There's a lot of good uses for it. You could even use it so you could throw it ahead, and then you can pop shield, and then you guys can heal while the enemy team is trying to deal with your bombardment. A lot of times you're not going to get kills because people know you have it and they can see you throwing it, but it's really good for zoning, especially end game. It's going to be really good for you guys to make sure that you have this for your fights, and then that way you can buy time if you're using bombardment. And just a quick little tip, it makes a lot of sense to have ultimate accelerants. They are so useful for Gibby. When you have these on you, at least one at all times, you are able to make sure that you have bombardment for every single team fight. If not all of them, then at least most of them. So when you're calling out for ammo, when you're calling out for your certain kit and weapons that you want, make sure you tell your teammates, hey guys, if you see ultimate accelerants, make sure you ping them for me because I want them. I want all of them. I want to eat them up, and I want my ult fast. Okay. So lastly, we're going to talk about how to play Gibraltar in game, and how I was saying earlier that he's not a tank. So most games that you play, whether it's Overwatch, MMORPGs, or other games, tank roles usually have to do with not just what they look like, but how you play them and what space you're occupying during your movement and your fights. Most of the time, a tank is a frontline character. Tanks are in the front line absorbing all the damage, and they also create space so that the people who are doing the damage, so like maybe a Wraith, somebody that's a little bit more aggro, they have the space they need to take out the enemy. That's usually what a tank's role would be. But in this situation, it's a lot different, and that's why I say he's not a true tank. Yeah, he's tankier. Yes, he's very large, and he has a little shield next to him, but he's not a real tank. So, because you're a support player, you're actually gonna play the back line. This is not how a tank would usually play. You're gonna make sure that you support your team because you are a defensive, supportive role. If your squad needs bubble, you're gonna run up and you're gonna give them bubble when they need it. If they need to back out and they can't in time, you're gonna use your bombardment the best way you see fit. The other thing is as Gibraltar, you want to practice callouts. The reason why is because since you are in the back line, it is your job to make the callouts essentially. Like, if you have someone who's really good at callouts, you don't have to worry about it, but do try to get better at it because technically you have the best view. You are the furthest back, you can see more, so you should be able to make more accurate calls than somebody who's in the front line doing a lot of the damage. Also, another cool thing is you don't have to worry about using slower strafing weapons like the Spitfire or any of the sniper rifles because you don't really have to bob back and forth and move up and down since you have your gun shield. You get to kind of sit still and either take a sniping position or get something, one of the slower strafing weapons, and you don't really
really have to worry about it. Me personally, I actually had to force myself to run these LMGs or snipers, because if I run R9 PK, I want to be in their face. It tempts me to want to jump right up in the middle of the fight, which you could totally run Gibby with these weapons. But for me personally, I know myself, and coming from being a Wraith main and an Octane main, I wanted to play a lot more aggro as Gibby, and I wasn't sitting in the back line, and my teammates were dying because of it. So I forced myself to either run R301 with a Spitfire or R301 with a Sentinel, whatever you guys choose. Just know that whatever is going to make you guys sit a little bit further back is going to be the key. Last thing I'm just going to reiterate real quick for you guys is always ADS. Use that gun shield and that 75 extra HP to your advantage during every single fight. I know it's going to be so tempting when someone pushes your bubble as soon as you pop it to want to hip fire. The only time I would recommend hip firing as Gibraltar is if you for sure know somebody's not paying attention to you and they're going after your team, or they're going after another team and you're third partying, and then you know that you can melt them with a hip fire. That is really the only time I would recommend it, because you will get dropped very fast, and then the support for your team is now down. And especially if you're in the middle of a fight in the beginning and you haven't used bombardment, that sucks, because now you're down and you're also down with your ultimate. That pretty much wraps up the video, guys. I really do appreciate you guys being here for my first guide. Any other legends for the game that you guys want to see next, please let me know down in the comments. I really want to do what you guys want and bring the most value to you guys as you are here at the channel. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like if it helped you out. Share this video with one of your friends if they're just starting to play Apex and you know that they can benefit from this. I would love to talk to you guys about any other ideas you have. If you guys disagree with me, let me know in the comments. It's not a big deal. I'm open. I want to be open-minded. I want to learn this game the best way I can, and sometimes that's hearing a different perspective. So I would love to talk to you guys in the comments down below. Also, I would love to know if my video is helpful to you guys and who you guys main currently in Apex Legends, if you're excited for Season 4, and maybe even where you see Apex Legends going in the near future.
Thank you guys so much for coming by the video. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope you guys are very blessed. I hope you have an amazing day or night, depending on where you're at in the world, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.